Hey there, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And welcome to Forgotten Cinema Lead Up. Each episode, we highlight a film from a popular series and follow it all the way to the most recent release. We'll discuss what we love about the movie or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it, even the not so good ones. So let's get into it. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing, I'm just sick of all these freaking donkeys everywhere. Got to get rid of them. Get rid of Bonzo. No more Bonzos.
Did they really call one of them Bonzo?
They got writing on their helmets that said the only good Bonzos are dead Bonzos.
Oh,
right.
No, bedtime for Bonzo. That's what it was. Which my comment was, no one's seen that movie. No one has no idea about that movie.
I was watching this movie with Alicia last night, actually, when we're recording this, and I was like, no one knows what that is from. I know what that's from, but even I really don't know. Like, these people are probably, what year is this? Probably 2030, 2040 at this point. Like,
it's 5 years after the last one.
Right. And the first one's 2020 or something. So
no, the first one was 2011, wasn't it?
Doesn't it take place a little bit in the future?
We should really look at our notes, but
whatever. It's
anyway.
No matter what, even if it take place today, no one freaking knows what that is. That are just the young soldiers.
True.
But yeah,
so for those who have been following along with this series, we did Rise of the Planet of the Apes and we did Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and now we are doing the completion of the Caesar trilogy, War for the Planet of the Apes. Spoiler. So we'll do what we love to do. We'll do the facts, and then we will do what we thought about the film. I think if you've listened to the first two, you know that I have not seen any of these movies. So I'm coming at it completely different than when we do the main show, as Butler knows, because I usually have seen a lot of films that we've talked about, most of the films, maybe like one or two, a handful of all the 200 plus episodes that we have done, I have not seen. So... And for the lead up, so this was especially interesting for the both of us because it's my first go in a row that
you haven't watched.
Right. This one, because I know I told you I've seen some parts of Rise, and I knew of Dawn. I didn't see anything. I had not seen any piece of this movie whatsoever. I knew that Woody Harrelson was in it, and I kind of knew he played a general or the colonel. But I didn't know anything about this movie going in. So this is really fresh, as fresh as it can get from these three films, obviously, and then obviously much fresher when we see Kingdom, the Planet of the Apes. So let's get into it. I know. So this movie, of course, has to be longer. It has to be the longest of all of them, 140 minutes, rated PG-13. A production budget of $150 million, and it came out Friday, July 14th, 2017, big time summer release. Opening weekend, it did $56 million. Domestic, $147 million. International, $344 million, for a worldwide total of $491 million. And that's considerably lower than the last one. I don't know if you noticed that, because the last one did about 790 or 700 million
700,
somewhere. Yeah. So, and I think it probably has a lot to do with what came out before it, which we'll get into. It doesn't feel like, I know it's a big summer film, but it doesn't feel like a summer film. It feels like a November film. Like this should be like a Thanksgiving film, just because of the locale, the snow and all that stuff. And we can get into that a little bit. Production company was TSG Entertainment and Churden Entertainment, and it was distributed by 20th Century Fox. So I said it came out on the 14th. So I'm going to start on the 7th. So on the 7th, the week before, you had Spider-Man Homecoming, which is obviously a big film, a much anticipated film, one of the Marvel films, with first Spider-Man film, and with Tom Holland. I'm not counting, obviously, his first appearance in Captain America Civil War or Avengers 2.5, excuse me. So I think that had a lot to do with the lower number in the worldwide total, or excuse me, the domestic total. Yeah. So you also had a limited release, A Ghost Story, on the 7th, which probably had no effect on this movie. So I told you that the 14th was War for the Planet of the Apes. It also went up against Wish Upon, which I could not remember. I think that's a kid's film. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. And then The Big Sick, which I do remember, because that was kind of like, They had a lot of word of mouth, a lot of buzz. Yep. The week after, the 21st of July, you had Dunkirk, a movie that Mike and I both like. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. I think it's safe to say we do not like that as much as Dunkirk. Did you ever see it?
I didn't see it. I want to, but I think it was really long, and we watched Dunkirk instead that week, obviously. So it kind of went by the wayside for me, and I never ended up seeing it. Dunkirk, I think you like a lot more than me. I like Dunkirk, but I don't think it's a movie.
Well, I like
it's well directed. It's really cool, but it's not a movie. I don't know what it is. But it's not a movie.
It's Dunkirk. I don't know if my biggest problem with it. It wasn't really a problem because we always talk about, everyone has entitled to their opinions, but a lot of people call Dunkirk like the seminal World War II film, and I don't agree with that. I think I really like Saving Private Ryan quite a bit, and there's others out there that
Fury is more
I remember when Saving Private, for those who don't remember, because Saving Private Ryan was 1998. I remember when that came out in the theaters, you had people were extremely disturbed during the D-Day invasion because it was so realistic.
Yep.
So, I mean, it was, and back then, you didn't know now people see it, whatever. But when you're in the theater and it started, you had no idea what was going on, and they just get right into it. And it's like, oh my God, it was so, but that's how I feel. You could disagree. That's fine. If you love Dunkirk, you love Dunkirk. Not you, but Mike, everyone else. You also had Girls Trip that same weekend in a wide. So clearly the big three movies were Spider-Man, this one, War for Planet of the Apes, and Dunkirk. That 3 week span. This film sees the return of Matt Reeves as director. He's done Cloverfield and Let Me In, including the more recent The Batman. He also has a writing credit on this film. He did not have one in the last one, along with Mark Bomback. Bomback did Live Free or Die Hard, The Wolverine. Matt Reeves has written Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I want to know if in the Under Siege 2, Dark Territory script that Reeves wrote, if he has the running of Steven Seagal when the train is collapsing behind him, running leisurely, like nothing was bothering, nothing was going to get him. Do you remember that scene?
I do. That's as fast as he can run.
Ooh, just like running. I'm making it look better because he was not doing the Tom Cruise hands. He was like he was taking a stroll. Actually, I think almost everybody returned from the last movie. Same cinematographer, Michael Saracen, who's done Fame, Rambo 3. Composer who you love, Michael Giacchino, who's done won an Oscar for Up, and he's done a bunch of others. Edited by William Hoyne, Stan Salthus, who did some Star Trek Next Generation and Patriot Games. Salthus has done Now You See Me 2 and Venom, Let There Be Carnage, another sequel. And then producers were Chernin, Dylan Clark, Jaffa and Silver, who were the original writers for the first one, and they wrote part of Dawn, but they wrote the first script of Dawn. They did not, right. I don't think they wrote any part of this one.
It didn't seem so, no.
Right, and Chern's produced the entire series. They've all produced the entire series. Andy Serkis returns as Caesar. I hope we know who Andy Serkis is by now, but if you don't, he's Gollum in Lord of the Rings and Smeagol as well, 13 going on 30. And he's used Ulysses Claw and Marvel movies, most of the Marvel, who knows, like 6 or 7. Woody Harrelson it's his first go around in the Planet of the Apes world as the Colonel. Woody Harrelson's nominated for 3 Oscars. I know you're going to know the first one. It's more recent. It's okay. By the look on your face, I know you don't know the first one.
I don't.
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. He was nominated for that.
God, I love that film.
He was nominated for The Messenger, and he was nominated for The People versus Larry Flint.
Which one's The
Messenger? Which might be a good one. The Messenger is about... I'm going to confuse it with Joan of Arc because I don't think that's it.
That's what I have in my brain, and I'm just like, no, that's not it.
Because they changed the title of...
they changed her title to like add Joan of Arc to it. Yeah.
So I don't know if... Let's see... No, it is. Let's see. Did I see this film? Let's see. After being injured in Iraq, soldier Will Montgomery returns home to finish the rest of his tour of duty in the Army's Casualty Notification Service.
Okay. Yep. I've seen parts of that movie. I've never seen the whole thing. I saw like 2 scenes and I was just like, this is too depressing. It was on like HBO.
I don't think I've seen this film. I don't think I want to see this film.
Really sad.
Ben Foster, Samantha Moore. I don't care. Good.
Yeah. I didn't say like it's bad because it's sad. I'm just saying it's really sad.
You don't like sad things.
But I do remember that. Why would I like
Steve
that?
Zahn. Steve Zahn is in this as Bad Ape. He's the old, well, I thought he was a young ape, but I guess he's an old ape. He's in this film. He has no hair. Anyways,
Bad Ape's seen some shit.
Yeah. He's in Joyride, the TV show Treme, and That Thing You Do. Karen Conoval returns as Maurice. She was in the other three. Amia Miller is new here as Nova, the mute little girl that they meet when they kill her father, which I guess they're okay with. She's actually in My Best Friend's Exorcism and The Waterman. Terry Notary returns as Rocket from Kong Skull Island. He was Kong in that one. He's also in Nope. Ty Olsson is new. I guess he wasn't one of the earlier films, but not just as a regular one of the human actors. He comes here. He's Red Donkey. He's the lead donkey, if you will. He's in the Chronicles of Riddick as well. Sarah Canning as Lake, who is Blue Eye's wife, who ends up kind of becoming the female character in this film, taking care of his Caesar's younger son, Cornelius. She's in a Series of Unfortunate Events, the TV show, and the TV show The Vampire Diaries. And then Judith Greer is here for a hot second as Cornelia again. But we'll probably get into what happened to Cornelia, so she's not in it for that long. All right, brother, before we get into thoughts and whatnot, we're going to play that same game because this is the third film in the franchise and the third film that was nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards, but it lost. And what did it lose to? You ready?
All right, go ahead.
You'll get it. Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong, Skull Island, or Star Wars, The Last of the Jedi. What did War for the Planet of the Apes lose to? Lose the Best Visual Effects Academy Award to?
I'm hoping it's Blade Runner.
You are correct. It is Blade Runner 2049. So it did lose. Good job.
When you first were like, it lost, I was like, I know it never won, but like it's ridiculous that it keeps like this one in particular lost. But Blade Runner 2049 is really good, so it has really good effects.
It's going up against a lot of. I mean, I know Marvel must have a lot of CGI, but like I can take it or leave it with theirs because it's not as good as the other ones all the time.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade Runner and War both have those kind of effects where you can't tell if it's a set or if it's really there. And I think that's when it's like, wow, that's impressive. When you just throw a bunch of goobly aliens, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love me some goobly aliens, but that's not as impressive as not being able to tell if it's real or not real.
True. So, I mean, I'm curious before we get into it, are you able to watch this film and be like, wow, the effects have really improved from this film from Rise in terms of the apes? Yeah, okay. So
that's like one of the very first things I noticed in this film is this, like, because I mentioned in Dawn that I was a little let down by the effects because I remember being impressed by the effects and being like that, especially that opening scene where they're hunting the elk. I was just like, there's too many apes and it just doesn't look real. They're not in the forest. It looks good. I mean, and it probably looked great in 2000. I think that was 14. But in this one, even though that's 2016, almost 10 years removed again, it looks really impressive. There's a lot of close-ups of the apes in this, especially like Maurice and a couple of Bad Ape, where I was just like, is that an animatronic head or is that real? Like especially Maurice, something about Maurice's face and the texture of it. Just there are times where I don't know if they're using an actual orangutan muppet or puppet or if it's actually CG, and I think that's really incredible.
I know that Conoval's performance as Maurice is always the one that's mentioned as the standout in all three films. I guess she just really nails Maurice, and so I think that adds to it as well, just the movement, but also the CGI work on there. So yeah, I think that's a testament to that as well. So you only seen this one time in the theater? You've seen it multiple times? You own this? What's the history of you in this film? Oh,
I've seen this. I think Dawn is my favorite, but actually after watching this is actually like, it's pretty close to Dawn in terms of like my enjoyment of it, my love for it. I think it's a very good film. I think it's a great ending for the film, like trilogy. I probably saw it 3 or 4 times in the theaters, and then I didn't think I watched it on Blu-ray, but my Blu-ray wrapper is opened, so I must have watched it at least once on Blu-ray once I bought it.
You went to this 3 or 4 times in this theater?
I watched it You might have been general managing another theater at the time, taking over for somebody when this came out.
I was in Southington.
Yeah, so I watched this with one of our manager friends, Lillian, was like, "Oh, now I get to watch a movie. Fuck yeah!" And like we watched War of the Planet of the Apes, and then I watched it with Elise because Elise is what's up.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
And then I watched it with Elise because she's a fan of the movies. And then I think just like at the end of my shift, just a couple of nights when I got out early, I just kind of put it on and stayed in the theater because that's a power I had back in the day to just be in an empty theater going, I feel like watching a movie tonight.
Look at you. That power's gone.
But yeah, I very much enjoy this film. I love the look of this film. I mean, I mentioned I love the look of Dawn, but I think the 65 millimeter they use in this film, every wide shot just is so epic and something of the kind of films that you would see in like the 1960s, like that Bridge on the River Kwai kind of look. And they mention it in the Blu-rays, and I didn't really notice it when I was watching the movie that first, but then they show some of the close-ups in the Blu-ray, like the 65 millimeter, even on the close-ups, make the close-ups look different than your average film. And I really enjoyed that as well. But this panoramic shots, I love the story. I love the colors. Like, I think the cinematography in this movie is top notch.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Obviously, you bring up Bridge on the River Kwai. This movie has a lot of, I wouldn't say references, but inspirations. You know,
yes.
The Great Escape, Ten Commandments, Ben-Hur. They've talked about this. Apocalypse Now.
They got paid when Dawn ended. They wanted them to get to work right away on the script, and they were like, "Hey, can we take our time? And can we borrow a movie theater on the lot to watch all these movies?" And they're like, and then for the first that year after, they just watched all these movies on the Fox lot. It's like, that must have been nice. You probably got paid for that. Buku bucks to watch all these awesome movies.
Their last film made over $700 million. They should be allowed to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Plus, they rushed the last film too. They rushed the previous two films, so it's almost like they owed them a little bit to be like, yeah, make it right, finish it off right. So yeah. So I guess that was good for them. I mean, good on them. Good on them.
But was it good for the film? Mike Field, final film in the trilogy. Memmy. Give me a meh. Give me a meh.
A meh? What do you mean? Like no. I enjoyed it. There's some stuff that I won't say I didn't like. There were nitpicks. There's like we talk about all the time. Not everything's perfect. I probably would have to watch this film a couple times to really get a true sense of how I feel about it. With, because we say that all the time. Sometimes you have to sit with a film, But I would say on whole, I liked it. I liked what they did with the virus. I'm curious. I wanted to ask you about how the virus is mutating again, and it's basically devolving the humans,
turning them into like the people from the original. Yeah,
right. Is that something that's from? Do you know from the books, from the original series?
Well, I never read the book, but I think in the original they do get dumb. I can't really. I haven't seen the original. I've only seen it once, and it was years and years ago. But I am pretty sure they're not nonverbal, but the people get really stupid.
Well, they've devolved.
Yeah. So they are the cattle for the apes, kind of. So it makes sense that there had to be something to get them that way. Even if you kill off, 4/5 of the population, people still know stuff and will still teach people through generations. So I think this virus mutation is a clever way to get closer to that planet of the apes that, I think even with Kingdom, we're still not going to get quite yet, but we're getting closer to.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kingdom is, I assume, something completely separate from this three-parter. It's a considerable amount in the future. It's tough because I guess I don't want to get into Kingdom because we haven't seen it yet. But one of my concerns is that we have this film where we have a human girl, and the apes are like showing her kindness, and the apes and Caesar and not Caesar completely in the beginning, but like Maurice is showing her kindness and trying to help her. And I feel like that's kind of a similar theme we're going to see in Kingdom based on the trailer that we see. Like, I don't know if I mean, it feels like a repeat of that, so I don't know how that's going to play. Just coming hot off of this one, and that's not fair to Kingdom because it's a different person, it's a different writer, it's a brand new thing. I think it's a brand new thing. I think that's what their intent is.
It looks like, I was on IMDb, it looks like no one's the same, other than I think that some of the producers and Jaffa's getting credit again.
Like, well, I think just because they wrote the first one. Yeah. Oh, it's hidden.
There's only like 5 people listed on IMDb, so I was like, well, is Terry Notary back, maybe playing a different ape, or Maurice, the actress who played Maurice, and like you can't see any actors other than like the main 4 or 5 guys. So I was like, that's interesting.
That is interesting. I mean, why would they? There's really no reason for them to come back because it's supposed to be a while into the future.
I wasn't thinking they would play their same characters, but because it's mocap, they could play different.
Oh, true.
Different characters, but use the same actors because they're very good at playing apes.
Yeah, but like you almost are like Maurice's Karen Conover, like that role is her, and
right?
It's much similar to playing any kind of role. You might not want to go back and do somebody different because it's known for Maurice.
Sure.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. But we'll see. I guess we'll find out. So I my point with there was I like that note or that plot point about the mutating virus and what it leads to, what we all know it's going to lead to. So I enjoyed that. I don't know if I like Bad Ape. I know you love Bad Ape.
I knew you would like Bad Ape. I knew it.
Because why do we have to have comedy humor? Why do we have to have the comedy stuff in there?
It's not nice. That type of movie. I think this movie
it's nice.
Is very dark. I think it's important to have some kind of. It's important to have a little bit of light in your movie.
Okay, that's fine.
And I don't think he's he's not over the top funny. He's not like there's the moment with the binoculars. No, you're right. But
that's the biggest one I don't like.
He doesn't go too far with his comedy. He's just kind of like there, and he's kind of a tragic ape as well. He was apparently not treated well in the zoo because he thinks his name is Bad Ape.
Shocker.
And he talks about how he had, at first he doesn't want to go to the quote unquote human zoo. And then Caesar mentions he lost his son, and Bad Ape says that he used to have a son as well.
Sure. I have no problem with that scene. I just don't like the comedy bits. I just don't, it's like Matthew Broderick being chased by little Godzillas and doing the whoop, 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 whoop. I just don't, the binoculars was the biggest. Binoculars when listen, you can let me have this. I can be not okay with the binoculars being, they're so small. Let's go. Come on. Like when he did that, I was just like, come on, man. Like, I understand you want some light in there, but that's the girl. That's the girl is like, and it's not funny light. It's light like hope. Like that's the light that to me I want. And it's shown when she's in there and she just walks right in, which is okay. I guess she just like basically just walks through the front gate. So I didn't get that, but whatever.
I think they should have shown more. They clearly talk about how they have families there. I think if they showed other children, I'd be like, all right, so they can't tell her from anybody else. But her being the only child they show makes it a little ridiculous that no one's caught her during the entire time.
Yeah.
People that are on higher alert that the military is coming.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice, they're coming for him. Like you find that out, that little twist at the thing. I thought that was really good. I liked what happens to the Colonel, and I didn't even catch that. And I wish I did, like when he picked up the doll with the blood on it, and that's what he gets, that he gets that virus
from that because they talk about hurting everybody else's stuff. Yep.
Right. So I didn't even catch that when he picks it up. And so I thought that was interesting. I just wasn't. It's probably just the binoculars I wasn't, because there was another moment where Bad Ape was doing something, but I guess it was kind of part of the escape, or
when he falls off, he's on Maurice and then he falls down.
Or I know that happens. I think when she walks in and he starts chasing her and then he comes back and then he sees the apes coming and then he goes forward. It's towards the end somewhere. I can't really remember it off the top of my head. I watched this movie like maybe 4 or 5 days ago.
Is it the blizzard? And they have to he freaks out too much and Maurice and Rocket have to come back and grab him.
maybe. Yes.
He does a little bit of a Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's that was just a little too much for me. Did it make me hate the film? No. Does it make me hate Bad Apes other scenes? No. It was just a little like, come on, man. I love Air Force One. I don't like when the woman is on the parachute going, ee, smiling and like, when, you know what I mean? You're talking about?
Yeah.
The woman that he promises to post. I don't like that scene. I don't like that part, but I like that movie.
Postmaster General.
Exactly. That's fine. Yeah. So, I mean, did something in this film that when you first watched it and then watched it now, or what is it? What are moments in this film that really still stand out for you that you really are like, you're not taking notes when you're watching?
Oh, almost all of it.
The whole thing. So you have no notes? Is that
No. The ape scene, the battle at the beginning is really well done. I really like that battle in the forest. The scene where they meet Nova, I think is shot really well. Like it's clearly golden hour. And I think that just accentuates how good the special effects are. Like the light beaming off the ape's hair and just, it's idyllic. It's beautiful, but it's also run down. They shoot the guy, but the guy was going to shoot the apes. But you see Caesar just really not cared that he just blew a guy away. And you see Maurice and Rocket like, wow, this isn't the Caesar we know. So like that's a scene where I don't have a lot of notes. My and obviously the ending, which we'll get to. I completely stop the ending, the epilogue. Yeah. My notes, my keyboard is away from me at that point as I'm watching the end. But
that's not what this show's about, Butler.
My main, I guess, blemish on the film, I think the thing I like the least, but it's not too much. But I don't like Woody Harrelson constantly trying to do a Marlon Brando. He goes in and out, and it really takes me out. Like I get that the whole thing, he's the Colonel. It's an homage to Apocalypse Now, but I think every so often he just he just throws in a Marlon Brando impression out of nowhere, and it's just kind of like it's a shtick, and it gets even worse. Like as I watched the film, I was like, I'm still not a huge fan of that shtick. And then as I'm watching the deleted scenes, a lot of his deleted scenes, he goes full Brando in his impression. I go, I get why Matt Reeves, like there's a whole speech he gives to his troops, and it's just like, this isn't very good. This is definitely just an impression. It's not really being something interesting. But then he has moments where he goes, you're too emotional. And he's Woody Harrelson playing this character. He's not trying to be another actor playing a character. He's actually into it. So he's like very on and off with me in terms of his acting choices, I guess, in the film.
He, there was a note that I didn't write down initially that he made a comment about his choices within this film about going back. It was like one of the last comments.
I know that he talks about having like meetings with Matt Reeves that inform some of the dialogue choices. Like you're so emotional, you're like having this divine purpose. That was all him, and they wrote that into the character, and I don't mind that.
They did the like the speech when after Caesar wakes up after getting hit in the back of the head, and he's doing that speech about the famous generals and their counterparts,
but you're not much of a reader,
right? That was him. That's from him. Him shooting the elder that falls in front of everyone was Harrelson's suggestion. And I think he was right there. He's like, how are they going to fear me if I don't take out one of these apes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which I agree with. I'm paraphrasing, but the note that he had said, he's like, when you look back at films, years later, you realize that sometimes, you really didn't do the best you could do. And he said that this film was the film that the choices he made, he wished he could go back and change. He did them because the choices he was making, he did them because he thought that, that's what would be good for the role. But like looking back, it's like, he was just like, oh, I probably could have done something different, something better. And he was like, you can't really regret it, but you'll still regret it. Like that kind of thing.
Sure. I get that.
So maybe to your point, that's
That's probably some of the stuff he regrets.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but like you make choices. I would much rather have an actor make choices and back up those choices while they're doing it. And you're like, okay, like, so like when you have a conversation with like, hey, why did you play this the way you played it? Well, because this, and you're like, all right, fine. You had a reason. And even if they regret it 5-10 years later, I would have done that differently. Sure. I don't like it when an actor has no idea why they make a choice. You know, like when they're just doing things. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather
absolutely,
yeah. Because then they're like, well, listen, if you're not going to care, I'm not going to care watching it. You know, like if you're not going to give a crap about your performance or how a film looks, if you're cinematographer, or directing, how you're blocking, if you're just doing it for a paycheck, well, guess what? I'm not going to really kind of give you the benefit of the doubt when I watch your film because you're not giving me your best effort. You're not giving me the best, putting your best foot forward. And so just to that point, I guess I don't know where I was going with that, but that's
absolutely. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, and he does have some like great, like when he brings Caesar up to his room, his command room, and he's talking to him initially. And he talks about, when Caesar finds out, oh, they're coming to get you, not coming to help you. And he's talking and he's like so emotional and, don't get any ideas. The only thing these guys fear more than me is a bunch of wild apes.
Yeah.
But that whole conversation is great. But then he's got conversations where he goes up to him when Caesar's in his own little jail cell and he's doing a little Marlon Brando. And it's just like, where does this come from? And those are the parts that kind of affect me.
Sure,
although one of those deleted scenes, which I've watched yesterday, I had never watched the deleted scenes before. He has a conversation with Caesar and mentions that someone had talked to him a few years back about Caesar.
Yeah, Malcolm.
He needs to talk, and he shot Malcolm. So you find out that he killed Malcolm from the last movie we watched. And I was like, oof. Yeah, I don't know if I needed. I'm kind of glad they cut that. I don't know if I needed to know that he killed Malcolm. Like this movie's already kind of dark enough. I don't think that was necessary.
It doesn't make him any more dangerous of a person of an antagonist. You already know he's a bad guy. You don't. That's just
he's got all the apes.
Right. That's just connecting to the last movie just for the sake of connecting to the last movie, which you don't really need. You want to know. You kind of figure that Malcolm, maybe he survived, maybe he didn't.
Right.
But yeah. No, I get that. While we're on the topic of Caesar and the Colonel, so basically at the beginning of the movie starts off with, for those who don't know, but I imagine everyone knows, like his son is murdered, his wife is murdered, but they were looking for him, and they're murdered by the Colonel. The Colonel leaves, and so he just wants to go after him. He tells his group to get out of here. I'm going to go. I'm taking him out. Tries to go after him. Obviously, throughout the next hour and a half, maybe even longer, he realizes that this is not, what have I done? I can't believe I've done this. Goes and finds Cornelius. He hugs him. Oh, tears in his eyes. They're escaping. And then Caesar stops. And he's like, you know what? No, I'm still annoyed. I can't let it go. I'm going to go after the Colonel again. It's almost like, and I know why we do it, because we get to the scene where we find out what happens to the Colonel, and we, whatever. I get why we do it. But to me, it rings just like in The Patriot when Mel Gibson tells his son, don't go for revenge. You'll just get yourself killed. And the son gets killed. And Mel Gibson's like, well, screw that. I'm just going to go for revenge now. Completely disregards his own advice. Like, maybe I'm looking too much into that, but I did kind of feel that a little bit. Cause when he was sitting there, when he's hugging his son, they're going in the hole, and then he turns and he starts saying, I'm sitting there going, what are you doing? You just said that. I thought you learned your lesson. And then,
no, he never learns his lesson. He says, I am Koba. All he does, he feels bad that it got his people captured, but now that his people are free, it's his thirst for revenge never stopped. If anything,
he still has to lead his people out. He still has to lead them. Like, that's the thing. He still has to lead them.
But he does.
He does after. No, of course, obviously, he does after Red Donkey saves his ass.
Poor Red Donkey.
Yeah, that was tough.
I thought Red Donkey at least gets to kill the gunner, but he doesn't even get that. That guy was an
asshole. That guy was just like, I mean, none of the humans are nice in this. There's even the human that you think is, and
the
they
crossbow
set him
guy.
Up like, yeah, I don't want to know his name, because they set him up like he was going to be a good guy, and obviously they decided not to do that. Okay, fine, but then he's just like, like
he's the guy that kills Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an interesting scene where after their meeting, it's a deleted scene, which I think they should have kept in. He's leading Caesar out, and Caesar's like, the kid's like, I told you not to get him agitated. Now look at you. How is that supposed to help you? You're agitating him. He's like, he's insane. You shouldn't be with him. He's going to get you killed. You should find a way out. And the kid's like, oh, well, this is a man with a vision. I tried to help you out and give you some advice because you did me a solid. Don't think we're friends, donkey. You know, this guy, he knows what he's doing. People sacrifice need to be made. And he goes off on this like religious tangent. And it's like, oh, wow, no, this crossbow kid needs to die. And like, I think that should have been kept in, because then I would have been like, his 180, his not completely 180 turn, but that him shooting Caesar wouldn't be as much of a surprise. You'd be like, oh, that fucking dick. I knew he was going to do that.
I mean, we talk about with the Godzilla films how we don't care about the humans. We just want the monsters to fight. And I think that's a little different for this film. We do kind of, I think we do want that side of the humans and the apes. And I know we were rooting for the apes, but
we're rooting for the apes, but you want that kind of dichotomy between the two of them. Yeah.
So let me peep this at you. So in Rise, you have James Franco, you have that with Will, you have his father, you have the guy at the boss at the Genesis. You have there's like a couple, 4 or 5 people. In Dawn, you have Gary Oldman, who's not in it that long. You have Malcolm, played by Jason Clarke.
Isaac. Oh,
yeah. Clarke, yeah. No, I almost said Isaac instead of Jason Clarke. And then you had Kerry Russell in there as his love interest and his son. And so you had a little less people there. Maybe a little more, a little less. In this one, it's really just the Colonel. Like we've almost removed, like all the other humans are just generic a-holes. Who you know what I mean? Like, especially when they march in and they do that little, they're yelling. I don't even know what they're friggin' saying. And they're yelling, you know, and then to the point where when the other army comes, they're just faceless people. They're just like people with just masks on and all in white, and they're nobodies, and they just get obliterated by the avalanche. So it's almost like as the movies go along, and my question to you is, do you think this was by design? The humans are just kind of, not I want to say whitewashed, but they're just kind of relegated to the back, and there's really no. They become just the kind of black hat bad people. You know what I mean? Like they're and faceless bad guys and faceless obstacles for the apes to overcome and become whatever they become in the future, or which is going to be Planet of the Apes and whatnot. Do you buy that? Do you think that was by design? Do you think that just was just the way it went?
Oh no, I think it was absolutely by design. I don't think Matt Reeves. Okay. You know, these are great films. I think they're great films. The second two, Rise is an okay film that gives birth.
Rise is good.
Serves its purpose.
It's an origin story. We talked about it's an origin story. It's just flawed. It's just got some flaws.
Right. But I think each one you build up the first one. It's like, are people going to really connect to this ape? Yes. Second one. All right, let's put more ape. Third one, people are all in on the apes. All they talk about Caesar and Maurice. You know, this is their story now. Let's just go ahead and do that. The military is just an extension of the Colonel.
He doesn't even have a name. He's the Colonel. Yeah.
His thing says McCullough. So whatever.
They only call him the Colonel. That's his credit.
So they're just all in on him. He's almost like this godlike cult figure. Again, he's clearly Marlon Brando from Apocalypse Now, which is fine. I dig that. I like that. I like that it becomes Caesar's story because, and Andy Serkis mentions this, like how many other actors get to play a character from infancy to death over the course of these films? Like very few people get to play a character throughout their entire lives like that. And I think that he's earned, like Caesar and the Weta team and Andy Serkis and Matt Reeves and the writers earned that kind of focus on the apes. You know, we like Maurice, we like Caesar. We want more of his story, especially if this is going to be the last Caesar story. And I think that the humans they're mean to the end, but we've already gotten the good. We've gotten the bad of them. So now we have to get to the bad of the apes, because we've seen mostly, I mean, Koba's was the bad of the apes, but more like in a supervillain kind of way. We need to see that kind of human bad. And I think it's interesting that the human bad comes from our most saintly, holier than thou leader of the apes in this.
I mean, clearly, these. I think they're going to obviously. I'm curious how Kingdom's going to do. I just don't know. I can't anticipate because Kingdom has a whole set of cast of characters and stuff like that.
And you're so far removed from. It's been so many years since war now. Right,
and that's a little bit of the pandemic issue, but I'm curious, like, let's say they do two more. Let's say they do the second series, second trilogy, and they've got another one planned. Like, this series, this trilogy is going to be known as the Caesar trilogy. So I think this is going to be not like it's going to be known as Caesar's story.
Sure.
So I'm curious, you know what I mean? I'm curious. And Caesar's story has always been ape versus man. The next set is going to be ape versus ape now. And so I'm curious how, and like, kind of like man's just kind of like, it's almost like the Godzilla films where it's Godzilla versus, Mecha Godzilla and the humans are below. Like, it's going to be like that, apes versus apes, and the humans are in there somewhere. And I'm curious how that's going to play out. I'm curious if it's going to be if we're going to, respond to it as much as we responded to Dawn and War, which I agree with you are obviously the better of the two films of all three. I think War has a lot more action than Dawn, but Dawn has a lot more drama on the human side, obviously, than this one, because you don't really care about the bad guys in War. You just want them to die, which I think that's the point. Yeah. So I'm looking ahead, but I am curious the difference between the new film and these films. I
think that all depends on like how people see the apes. Do you see them as humans? Like, do you connect to them on a human level, or do you connect to them, like you're saying, as Godzillas? Like, when you're watching these movies, are you watching them as Godzillas, or are you watching them as characters? That's not a rhetorical question. When you're watching, how do you see it? Yeah,
no, they're characters.
Do you feel for Caesar and stuff?
I'm not comparing them to. I'm not comparing them to the Godzilla.
But I think what you're saying is fair, though, because I think a lot of people are. And a lot of people just want beat 'em up monkey stuff. And when they're not going to get that, when there's more human stuff, they're just like, I just wanted Godzilla vs. Kong. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that in the next movie, that humans are basically, I'm curious how essential they're going to be to the plot of the whole entire of the story, which is ape versus. I think it's ape versus ape.
I don't think they're going to be all that important at all. I think the girl's there. She's probably important to the main character, the main ape, but I don't think that overall. I think it's about this ape versus that, king ape guy for killing his village or whatever you get from the trailer.
Now I know I'm going to ask it because everyone asks this, and I know in the originals humans were dirty, gross, don't touch the humans. But come on, you know that there's going to be intermingling of the species. I mean, you think we're going to reference that in the next film?
I don't.
No, I'm not trying to be gross about it. I'm just trying to be realistic and they're.
I think it's different in the 1968 film.
Oh, you're not going to do that.
No, but I mean, there are moments. I think in the other films and like the TV show, from like the snippets I can remember, where like the main character kind of falls, or the lady ape kind of falls for the man.
Mm-hmm.
But those apes were pretty much human. Like they were like Star Trek aliens. Like they were apes, but they were mostly human. These are apes. These parts don't mix.
I'm talking too much about the new film. Let me talk about this film because I'm looking ahead way too much. In this film, do you think is it odd the fact that they haven't learned of some kind of rudimentary style of medicine of how to heal each other? Like they don't, like when somebody gets an injury, it's just like, oh, you're okay. Oh, hang in there. Like they do nothing. They don't even do like when you watch like the movies with Native Americans and they're making like the herbal pat to stop it from bleeding. They don't even do any of that.
Well, I think that, I know Caesar looks old, and he's basically playing an old man, but he's like what, 30, 20 something.
I don't even know.
Chimps don't live for that long. So, maybe he would have lived longer because he's got the brains, but he gets arrowed in the gut, so we're never gonna know. But I think that it's only been like a decade or a couple of decades since the James Franco, the original James Franco film, since when James Franco made the Apes. So I don't think they've had time to do that yet. I think you'll see a lot of that stuff in this newest one. I think now is when you're going to start to see, the actual apes having medicine, having rudimentary technology of their own.
Let's see. Now, you knew that you knew the reference of the girl being named Nova is from the original, right? From the original,
yep.
Yeah. So Nova is the character that Linda Harrison made, but did you know that when Maurice talks to Nova and tells her name, that's actually Charlton Heston's voice from Planet of the Apes that they electronically altered? So when he says it in Planet of the Apes to tell Linda Harrison, the actress, that her name is Nova, or calls her Nova, they use that same audio and just kind of altered. But you can still kind of tell if you go back that it's his voice. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not notice that.
Yeah. And I like the fact that Maurice talks at the end, and you kind of get the idea of how people, you get the sense of like how people will know about Caesar for decades upon decades, because Maurice tells them, everyone will know what you did for us.
He's got to keep telling the story. Yeah.
Right. So I thought that was really good. And the fact that it's kind of clear that Maurice will lead the group now. Maurice will be the leader. And if you think back to Planet of the Apes, Maurice's species is what is the main species that runs in the original Planet of the Apes, who are in leadership power. And take that from this. Right. So I thought that was interesting. Orangutans, right? Maurice is an orangutan. Is that right?
Maurice, yeah, he's an orangutan. Yeah.
So I do like a lot of those kind of, I won't say they're callbacks to the original, but they're almost like honoring the original setup in the books and what the original story set up, and kind of like following that along, almost like when we watch the James Bond series with Daniel Craig, kind of like him becoming who he is in all the movies, like that kind of like the whole thing. I enjoy that. I like seeing that happen. I thought that is done really well. I don't know if you agree with that, but I thought that I really liked that.
Oh, absolutely. I love these two movies. These are okay. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I like that they set it up without being blatant or going a little too far.
Okay.
What? Well, like some people can get like really like wink, wink, nod, nod.
Sure. Totally.
Or do something that is kind of, it was in Apes, but it would be so silly now. Like Rise does that a couple of times where Tom Felton just like, get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape. And it's like, all right. They don't do it. They don't do anything so heavy handed that it takes you out of the film.
But I think in that movie, to be fair to that movie, it's the first Apes movie since the Tim Burton one, which nobody really counts. So it's the first one trying to honor the original. So you're kind of okay with it in there at that time. But I agree. If they kept doing it, it would be a problem. Yeah. I mean, if that kept happening, you're just like, all right, we get it. I mean, so, who knows? So I didn't realize that this film was actually going to come out a year earlier. It was supposed to come out July 15th, around the same time, 2016. And then in January of 2015 or maybe 2016, they just postponed it again. So it was initially, and maybe that, to your point, well, they decided they wanted to take their time. They kind of like, maybe they took a little bit more time, but I didn't realize
that it was a tough shoot.
Well, I can imagine.
A lot of the locations were like freezing cold, and
they're dumping cold water on Andy Serkis without him knowing.
Andy Serkis says like the first one, it was New Orleans. Everything was blistering hot. You're wearing the suits. And this one, you're wearing the suits because you don't get to wear a jacket. So it's the opposite. He's like, we're just freezing all the time. The battle scene, they were filming on an uphill slope at a logging location. So they were using actual ammunition. They were marching up mud. And it was like apparently a terrible, not a terrible time, but it was really like,
it was tough. It was difficult. It was
a really tough shoot.
Yeah, it was a difficult shoot. It wasn't, but I think that, I mean, like everybody who's playing the apes I consider them actors, of course, but I think they're like a different type of actor where they're actually actors that get dirty. That, you know what I mean? They're actors that understand, like they're, you know what I mean? Like they're not for the lack of a better term, prima donnas. They're not like somebody who's like, I need my trail. You know what I mean? They're people that are like, let's get it done. Let's do. That's how I feel when I'm watching. Sure. You know what I mean? So so it's just like
every time I watch these films, especially again now watching all three, like almost back to back to back, like my respect for Andy Serkis is like what he does with Caesar is incredible. And that like story. And like you said, it's playing it from birth to death and like emoting with his eyes. And even Matt Reeves says, it's the CG makes them look like apes, but it's actually the actor's performance. And the new director, I just read The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes when it comes out on Blu-ray, there's going to be a version minus the ape effects where you can just see the actor's effects in the mocap. It'd be like
a whole movie.
If you wanted to, yeah. So you could go watch.
You can't just take scenes. You got to do the whole friggin' film. No one's going to watch the whole film.
There might be people, but there might be people with specific scenes. So you might as well put the whole thing up and then they can fast forward to their scene. But I think that's like showing, hey, these actors are really performing these parts and they're actually, the character of Caesar isn't all CG and, effects. It's Andy Serkis's performance. People love Maurice because the performance is just incredible. Koba in the second movie is just a really good bad guy. And I think watching these three movies back to back to back, I just respected that even more. And then Terry Cotis?
Notary.
Terry Notary, like he has this thing he talks about in the special features, which, you have to have an actor. You got to find your center and then you got to loosen your center and you've got to just be this ape. And like he keeps going on. And it's like, it's very much kind of actory nonsense, but because of the way they play the apes and because of what he's saying, though, it's like in this case, it is like such a true form of acting, and it is actually like it's not BS, and it's not just like tooting your own horn. It's just like that's what you have to do to be one of these apes. Like you said, you can't be a prima donna. You have to just let go of everything like that's holding you back and just be an ape. Don't pretend to be an ape. Become an ape and just don't care. Don't think about it. Just actually perform. And I think, like you said, like that's like the purest form of acting to me.
Well, totally. When you go to acting class, and I know you know this, the first one of those segments you're doing is be a tree. Be a tree, I
couldn't stand those.
But those are designed. Those are like fundamental skills that are like setting you. You know that like they're setting you up, and you know that they're corny, and you may feel stupid, but there is some truth to all that. There's some truth to just all of that stuff. I know that when we're doing our commercials, Butler, I need about 10 minutes to just get into field mode. And to really harness the inner dick that's inside of me. I can't remember. You were talking. Oh, did you see the note where in the scene that when Caesar is with the colonel and he's going to shoot him, and the whole scene when he's dying and Caesar's crying and Caesar has that tear come down, that tear is actually from Serkis in the scene. So Serkis cries in the scene as they're doing it, and they took the tear out, put the Caesar CGI on, obviously, and then put the tear on Caesar. So that's actually Andy Serkis's tear that's coming down Caesar's cheek. That's not.
I love it. I didn't hear that note, but I was curious because they showed a behind the scenes clip of Woody Harrelson telling Caesar, I didn't mean to kill your wife and kid, and like he's tearing up, and I was like, I wonder if that's like the same tear. I wonder if they just used that. So it's good to see that they did the same. Probably with at the end, Maurice cries when Caesar's dying, and I saw behind the scenes she's actually the actress is crying, and I wonder if maybe they did the same thing. But I love it. Yeah. I love that a lot. That's really cool.
All right, calm down. But you're going to start crying, and then we'll take that tear. And we'll put it on you in some other commercial where you can't get to the crying.
Are we going to do a lead up commercial for this where you ate me up and just use my tear?
We don't have the budget.
What's the budget?
We don't have the budget to do any of that. My commercial will just be
Microsoft Paint.
So I usually have reviews for you, but to piss you off, basically. But I couldn't find any negative reviews of this. So to be fair, I didn't really dig deep. I get the reviews off of Wikipedia, and I don't really go too far beyond that. Sometimes I will, and the only place I can think of to go is like IMDb, but like then you have to click on each link, and I'm just like, I can't do this. Some of the links are dead, so I was like, you know what, forget it. He won't get any. I won't try to tick him off with the.
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes would work because you just look for the rotten ones.
True. I'm always an IMDb guy, so you're right. I could have just done that. Maybe I can do that real quick right now.
Just to piss you off.
Exactly, Butler. I mean, this is the name of the game here. It's trying to get good content. Ready?
I don't even know what Deep Focus Review is. Lay it on me.
War for the Planet of the Apes squanders its actors, FX, and formal presentation on a story that feels lazily compiled from other material, making it a bitter end for Caesar in this otherwise admirable trilogy. So he likes a trilogy, but he thinks that this film squanders stuff.
No one in their right mind is picking Rise over this film. I mean, you're just not. Squanders and the character. Do you remember Brian Cox's character and Tom Felton's character and James Franco's character and David Oyelowo's character? Like, they're just Freya Pinto. They're all terrible not actors. They're all terrible characters in these films. Like, come on. See, if anything squanders, it's Rise.
Thomas Trusso, I'm not sure, from the Lonely Film Critic says, there is an inelegance here between expression and meaning that is jarring and makes this a grim watch at times.
I mean, it's grim, I guess. It's not a happy story.
Maybe he wanted something happier. I mean, Al Hoff, Pittsburgh City Paper. I found the machinations tedious. The film is more than 2 hours long, and there isn't much tension regarding the eventual outcome. Jesus, Al. Did you watch the same movie we did?
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry. It's more than 2 hours long. Find me movies that aren't 2 hours long anymore. That's what 220 is nothing anymore. Like, you'd be lucky to find a 2 hour and 20-minute movie that's not a comedy or a horror movie.
This is my new favorite thing.
A lot of horror movies are just like 3 hours.
This is my new favorite thing. Just going on Rotten Tomatoes
just
now.
Going through Rotten.
Yeah. K. Austin Collins of The Ringer, who's a top critic, says War for the Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes is a basic allegory that flirts dangerously with becoming an outright social issue drama. So I guess he didn't like the undertones.
The whole thing in Planet of the Apes, the original, is Caesar is a messiah character.
He's Moses. Caesar is Moses.
He's
Lead
always
people
been.
Away.
So
K. Austin doesn't like that.
That's how it was always going to end. Caesar is a Moses. It doesn't talk about social issues. It's not really that.
Yep.
I mean, there's the donkeys, but it's not really about racism.
Well, maybe he just doesn't like the religious undertone. I don't know. Jay Olson. Oh, there's more, man. Cine Mixtape. This is the last one.
You're finding some bangers.
Oh, I'm down. I'm scrolling down the list. Yeah. With Reeves' metaphors all face up, war becomes nothing but an awfully literal conclusion of a trilogy that once hinted at much bigger, more symbolic things. What did you want? So one guy, the first guy, doesn't like it because it's flirting with being a social, some kind of like have a social message. This guy's like, there is no social message. It squanders. And so pick a lane, guys.
Well, it's like what you said. They just want, especially that last guy, they just want a blurb. They just want to be that blurb that everybody picks up on.
It's okay to, here's a blurb. It's okay to admit a movie is good. It's okay to say, I really like this film. I had fun. It was dark. It was grim. Bad Ape stinks. I'm just kidding. But it's really okay to say that. Whatever. I guess I'm not a critic for that reason. I just like movies. Because I really can't get to, I can't drill down. I can tell you what I don't like about a film, but I can't really sit here and be like, you know, look for, I just can't really.
It takes a lot to like make a headline that you like hate on a film. Yeah. There are a few, but it's
yeah, sure. All right, we're wrapping this up. So we both like it. We both like Dawn. I think we're all officially prepared for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is coming out May 10th, and we're going to watch it May 13th, which means the live will be May 14th, correct?
Correct.
They're now showing? Right. And that's going to be the last live. That's Furiosa is the last live. What do we say?
Furiosa is we're going to end with Furiosa because that's what we told people about. But after that, it's going to go to the Patreon. And for those listening, you are already on our Patreon. We're going to switch over for the lead ups are going to be lives because we think that you guys will have more fun with the lead ups. You'll have more time to watch these films. Especially with the Alien, you know that all summer is going to be the Alien films. It's just going to be easier for you guys to have more to say, more to have, more to join. You're not going to get spoiled as much. We understand with the now showings, we have to get them out soon because that's what it's all about. We're doing a film discussion about a newer movie, but with lead ups, you have time to listen to them. We're not spoiling anything. You don't have to rush out and watch them. So I think it's just better for you guys, the patrons, to do lives for the lead ups. And if you guys disagree with us, let us know in the comments. Let us know on Patreon. Let us know in Discord what you guys actually think about that.
I just fixed my Discord notifications. So if I have not been on there, it's because I wasn't getting notified. And I took like 20, 30 minutes the other day with Mike going, put something in there. Maybe I'll get it. And I finally figured it out. And it's not an old man thing. It's just that the notification changed or it's defaulted to something else that shouldn't have been. So we're all set now. So feel free to pop in there and talk some shit about whatever you'd like to talk to about. I mean, I got nothing else, Mike. I mean, these are patrons, so we really don't have to pitch anything. If you want, obviously the podcast has started. So if you check us out, we're already into season 17. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this lead up to the next, to the new movie, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I know I'm very interested to see where it goes. Very curious as to how it relates to this trilogy. And we'll hopefully it's favorable. You have anything else to say, Mike?
Apes together.
All right. Good job. You keep it like that. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema Lead Up, War for the Planet of the Apes. This is war, Marcus!